Now let's start with my first Java program, and let's see how you could write a program, what exactly is the structure of a program, and what exactly happens when you compile a Java program. Now the basic essence of a program in Java is that you write a class to represent a program. So what we'll do is create a file. Every file in Java needs to have an extension of .java. So we'll create a file, and let me save this as, say, first.java. Now I'm doing this as Notepad so that we can see how things are done, what files are generated. In Eclipse, when we write a program, we'll have to exactly go to the location where it stores, so it's convenient to see these things on a DOS prompt rather than doing an Eclipse or any other editor. So we'll just see the basics of Java programming in editor, in Notepad, and then we'll shift to the main editor. So I'll just name this as first.java. I put this in quotes so that it does not add txt to this, and it is done. So let me replace it. Okay. Now the name of the file is first.java, but that doesn't limit you from naming the class to only first. So you can do is name the class as first, or you can name class as any other name you feel convenient to naming this. So let me say this as second. Now the second aspect of this is, if you need to run this class as an independent class, then we need to add a method called public static void main with a string array as parameter to this class. So this is a complete class in itself, a class with a main. So I can run this class and see what the output of this class is. However, I can add classes to this that do not have a main. So let me add a class third, another class fourth, and these do not have any main in them. So we got a file named first.java, we got a class called second in this, we got a class called third in this, and we have another class called fourth in this. And there's only one class that has a main method in this. Now if you need to print something to the console, we got a class called system, and in this we have a method called println. So we'll just shortly see what system.out.println exactly means. As of now, you can just cram that this is something you need to print something to the output. So I'll say hello world. This is the standard to start learning any language across the world. So we to write hello world, and here we go. Now once you finish off writing the class, we can compile this class on the DOS prompt, and the compiler is javac, and we'll pass in the file name. Now when the file is compiled, it creates a .class file for each class that you have within this file. So we've got a second class, a third, a fourth. So if I see the directory structure, I'll see there are three classes called second.class, there's a file called third.class, and a class called fourth.class. So it creates a file for each class that you make within this file. Now if you need to run any class out of these, if I say Java second, so this means I am running the class second, and what this will mean is that when you write Java second, the Java interpreter, it looks for the main method with a string array within the class second. So when you say class Java second, it is looking for the class second and the main method with string in this class, and it will be running this and showing you the output hello world. Now what happens if I try to run a class called Java third? Now the class is there, but the only thing different is it does not have a main. So when I run this, it says it is not able to find the class, the main method within the class third. And same thing happens if I run the class fourth. So this is all you need to get started with Java. Create a new file, name anything, but the only thing is the extension, which has to be .java, and then you can create any number of classes in a file, and they can be any name, and you could have main in one class, you could have main in any number of classes, and you compile the file and it creates a .class file for each of the class that you have within this file. Now where essentially is the name important? Now, if I do not name this class as public, I can name this class by any name. But the moment I assign public access to this, there is a problem. It says that the class second is public. It can only be declared in a file named second.java. So the moment you create a class which is public, it needs to be of the same name as the file. So the only class that can be public within a file, it can be first.java. So in case the file name is first.java, first is the only class that you have public in this. So this means that within a file you can have only one class which is public. So if you try to create any other class with the public modifier, it gives you an error. So you can have any number of classes subject to the condition of the public access. Now if you need to go through what exactly is in the class file, you can open up a class file and you can see it's almost unreadable, except for something you write in a string that says hello world. Rest all things are barely readable. So we can hardly see what exactly the class file contains. And it's sort of an encrypted file. So what do we do if we need to see the structure of the class file? What exactly the class file contains? What exactly is written within any method? So what we can do is we can use a tool called javap, and you can say -c and the name of the class you want to see the class file of. So it broadly shows you what exactly the class has. It's a class second and there's a constructor. We'll just see what exactly it means, and it has a public static void main, and what it is doing is it's calling a method called system.out.print and it's printing hello world. So this is how you could just broadly see what exactly the class has, and there are many places where this is very handy because there are many things that the compiler adds to your class in addition to what you write to the code. So this is very handy to see what exactly the class has beyond the compilation, and we'll need this to see in a number of places. So see how you can use the javap to find out what exactly the class file has. So in a nutshell, what we've done is create a new file for any Java program, and that has the extension of .java. You can have any number of classes within the file subject to the condition that none of the class is public. If it's public, it has to be the same name as that of the file, and if it's not a public class, then you can name the class by any name irrespective of what the file is. When you compile a file, you get a .class for each class that you have within the file, and there's no limit to what number of classes can have the main. All classes can have a main within a file. The only thing important is that you can only run a class which has main. So in case you want to run any class from the DOS prompt through the Java tool, it can be only that class that has the main method. So this is what exactly is the structure of a class, how you can run a class, compile and run a class, and what exactly it gives you the output. So hope this clears up. Let's go forward and see what more is there in this classes.